live. Hi, I'm Bonnie Gillespie, and this is day 4 of your free 20 days of training to celebrate 20 years of actor advice from this chick, again, Bonnie Gillespie, author of, I brought the book this time, Self-Management for Actors. What? Yes, so the reason it's called SMF May, the month of May, is because SMFA is self-management for actors. So, it's a play on the acronym. So, self-management for actors, no, was not originally put out 20 years ago, but the work that became self-management for actors started 20 years ago when I started interviewing casting directors for a publication at the time called Backstage West, now called Backstage. Interviewed hundreds of casting directors all over the world. It was an actor survival job that just organically turned into my life's work, because every time an actor would write in with a follow-up question saying, I need to know what the trends are, I need to know what the truth is. I keep hearing that, this casting director says a demo reel needs to be this long. This casting director says you need this many headshots. This casting director says you do need a web presence. You don't need a web presence. What's the truth? And I went, let's let the data tell us. And as y'all know from previous days in SMF May, I am all about the data. And hopefully you are too. Who has done their homework? Let me know in the comments if you're watching via YouTube or Periscope, Twitter, yes, and what's the other one? Facebook Live. You should be able to comment live on my screen here. Over at Instagram, I can see that a couple folks are joining me over here. Thank you so much, you beautiful people. I'm so glad that we are able to explore this amazing technology and connect with one another from all over the world. It makes me so happy. Share with me if you've done your homework. I would love to know, because the homework from Saturday, and if you're like, I didn't know, I just started watching today, please make sure you go. Hang on, let me put the link right there. BonnieGillespie.com/20 on Instagram. This is the link in my bio, so make sure that you visit that. If you have not, good. You've done your homework, Jimmy. So glad. Fabulous. Wonderful, wonderful. Frank, great. Getting Facebook going for the comments. Awesome. Beautiful. If you go to BonnieGillespie.com/20, you can get all the email updates when we're going live and when we have a new replay available for you, as well as see the entire calendar to know when each of these sessions is going to take place, because it is 20 free training sessions like this with me throughout the month of May to really get your tools and your mindset in the right shape for your creative showbiz career. So today's homework, the homework for today, to have ready for today, came off Saturday's training, which was all about doing your data survey to learn about your most castable type and brand. It was for you to go through what people are telling you when they see your silent video. So the idea behind it was to get you almost mimicking coming into an audition room for the first time. You've not yet spoken. You've not yet done the lines. You've not yet gone into character. You are just showing up and your presence is assessed, because we all know the energy comes into the room before we do. There is something about that connection, that energy, that we are just made up of energy, all of us. And so we know that we can read that energy before we even open our mouths. You know how there are just some people that you walk into a room and you're like, oh, we're going to be best friends forever. Like, I just know, like, I'm keeping you. Like, we are so in each other's lives. Similarly, there are people who, upon first meeting them, you're like, nope. And you don't know why. It's not that they look like someone you used to know. It's not like they said anything wrong. It's just an energetic mismatch. And a lot of that comes into play in casting. And so today we're going to be tackling the actor headshot, which is, of course, the logo for your most castable brand. And it's really important that this logo, your headshot, line up with the energy that's coming into the room. And I don't want you to work too hard to try and chase down the people who are turned off by your energy. There are going to be people who are repelled by your energy no matter what. There's no amount of contortioning that we can do that allows us to suddenly become universally liked or accepted. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. There's no single person on the planet who is loved by everyone every minute of every day period. It's just not a thing. And so rather than making it the goal to bland yourself out and be as least objectionable to as many people as possible, so therefore hopefully acceptable to as many people as possible, don't do that, because when you make a choice to try and like drive in all the lanes or be all the things to all the people, what you actually do is bland out your most castable self. You turn off the people who would be stark raving mad fans for that thing that you actually do if you let your full enoughness show. And so part of this typing work that we do in having the homework from Saturday is that you go through and present just here's what walks in the room and get people to give you feedback on what that is, what kinds of words come up, what age ranges they see, what types of jobs they think that you could take on, what they pick up about you and your qualities and your essences from just sensing you coming into the room. And we mimic that as closely as we can by doing the silent video version of this. And so hopefully by now you've gone through and taken a look at some of the feedback that you received from your Google surveys, and you're starting to take a look at patterns. You're starting to notice that, wow, here are people who've known me a long time and people who've never met me, and they all say this thing about me. And now people who know me really well will say things like this over here, but people who don't yet know me that well will say things more over here. Oh, that's good to know, because most casting directors are going to fit into this population of not yet knowing me well. And that's part of then what we build toward is over time. And as I go through the tiers, and we will get to the tiers in another day's free broadcast, you're able to sense what it is that you need to show the buyers based on where you are in your tier trajectory. You're able to know how many layers you actually want to reveal. And that's one of the things that a lot of people get wrong, is they try to make sure that their headshot can convey who they would be at another tier, rather than realizing, no, right now I'm rocking that co-star tier. I need the headshot that says I can do a serviceable one-liner, that I am absolutely not going to distract people from what this character's backstory is, because there isn't. It's just, I am here to, as a utility player, meant to take this conversation between the series leads from point A to point B. And that headshot doesn't need to be overly complicated. So what we do is we take all the data that has come in from doing your homework. And if you've not yet done your homework, go right back and watch the day 3 video. It's in the playlist. The entire playlist is available at tinyurl.com/smfa20. So also you can just go to the link in my bio everywhere and link to the YouTube playlist from there. But if you're wanting to just go straight there right now, tinyurl.com/smfa20 will take you to the playlist of all the homework and all the videos for this 20-day extravaganza. Please go through and start analyzing what data you got, like what patterns you saw. And if you're like, I don't really think any of my patterns are that clear, then what I'm going to recommend that you do is get more data. Because the more data you have, the clearer the patterns become. The more information you have coming in, the clearer the trends are. And when you're only surveying 20 people, or you only got a dozen responses, yeah, it may be challenging to see that 2 or 3 people saying the same thing is actually a pattern. But when you're able to survey 100 people, and when you really look at massive amounts of data, it gets crystal clear that, 30% of the population, 35% of the population, even 40% of the population is agreeing about this in your most castable type and brand. And that means you need to pay attention to getting headshots that sell that. Because ideally, we want headshots that when the buyers see them, so clearly convey this is what's going to walk into the room, that when someone takes a chance on you, and I'll talk about the chances in a minute, when someone takes a chance on you, they are so rewarded for having done so, because they actually got in the room exactly what they were hoping for. That it doesn't feel like when you've been at a restaurant and the menu makes something sound amazing, so you order it, and then when it comes, you're like, what is this crap? This is so not what I ordered. That's how casting feels so much of the time when we bring in actors that we don't know. And so let's talk about the odds on that, because it's not good. And this is something that I learned when I first started interviewing casting directors back in 1999. I was a little shocked and a little pissed because I was still an actor at the time. So it really, really bothered me that casting directors so infrequently bring in brand new people. And it's like, you've got all these amazingly talented actors out here clamoring to get in the room, and you keep bringing in the same actors over and over again. You keep bringing in people that you know. And then I became a casting director, and I learned the why behind the what. Now, here's the percentages. And I was shocked that it actually is, in fact, true. But then I lived it. And so of all the casting directors that I interviewed, and I would ask, how often will you see actors you've never met? How often will you give a shot to someone that you don't know? They're not coming in from a referral. They're not coming in through an agency that you've got shorthand with. They are just full on raw submitting, like unsolicited. You don't know them. You've got, like, you're totally taking a risk. How often does that happen? And I remember some of the top casting directors saying to me, maybe 8 to 10% of the slots will go to those people. And I remember when I went into casting saying, I'm going to do better. I'm going to do 20% people that I've never met. I'm going to do 20% people that have no agent. I'm going to do 20% people who are pre-union. I'm going to do 20%, like, just give them a shot, right? And quickly I learned in my casting career, that is where the majority of your no-shows come from. That's where the majority of your, oh, could you please reschedule me? Can I come any other time? Like, rather than just fucking making it work and getting there and getting their shift covered and just being a professional actor and making it work somehow, they will ask for all the, can we please make this change, that change? And then you'll stand on your head and try and make changes for people. And then they'll still end up no showing or coming at the original time anyway. And it's like, oh my God, why? And these are the people who show up not prepared. These are the people who show up not having their lines learned, not having their shit together. And it is incredibly frustrating on the buyer side of things when you know how many perfectly talented, ready for this opportunity actors are out there, and you've given a shot to this group of people that then overwhelmingly will no show or make you regret having opened up those slots. And so because I learned it firsthand, I can say that it's true that 8 to 10% of the sessions a casting director has to offer will go to somebody that we've never met, never heard of. Yeah, it's low. Yeah, that feels unfair, but there's a reason for that. And it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. It's part of why the relationship building that we recommend as a part of self-management for actors is so important. Really starting to build relationships with your buyers long before you've actually met in person, long before you are submitting on a breakdown, so that there's already that know, like, trust factor, so that the casting director doesn't feel like it's that big a risk to call you in, because it's just, yeah, technically we haven't met in person, but we have a relationship. So let me go ahead and give you a shot. And then, of course, you confirm that that was a really smart thing for them to do by showing up and being professional and being totally right for it and looking like your headshot. Now, when I first started interviewing casting directors, the number one casting director pet peeve, because that was one of my questions, even though I hate that as a question, it is one that I asked as an interviewer. I would say, what is your biggest pet peeve? And every casting director would say, actors who don't look like their headshots. Like, overwhelmingly, actors who don't look like their headshots. And I was like, how much does that happen? How often does it happen that an actor spends all this time and all this money and all this energy getting headshots, and then they show up not looking like this? Are you kidding me? What the heck? I so don't get that. Okay. It's actually true. It is an epidemic. And here's why. You generally, and I did it too as an actor, so I know, I was there, I did it. You pick the headshot that makes you look best. You pick the headshot that makes you look ideal you. You pick the headshot that minimizes that thing about yourself that you don't like. You pick the headshot that maximizes all the things that you wish were all anybody ever saw. You pick the ones that make you look younger and thinner and fresher and more balanced and all the things that you're hoping you can get out of these headshots. And the problem is, by picking something that is the most flattering, you oftentimes overlook the headshot that would have been the most castable. You overlook the headshot from all those proofs that would have been the winner, that would have gotten you into more casting offices, that would have gotten you into more casting offices appropriately for the type that you are, for the booker that you are known to be. That you actually eliminate this to a great degree when you pick a flattering headshot rather than the one that does the best job of meeting the criteria of your most castable brand. I'm getting some reports from the YouTube comments that this isn't showing up on Facebook Live, which is incredibly disappointing, seeing as that's the main platform to which we're pushing these, but it just makes me glad, all the more happier that I'm pushing to Instagram Live over here with my other device, and at least this version will live up in YouTube, and I don't know then how we will wrangle getting it into Facebook for comments to remain open. But that's a problem for 20 minutes from now, because I'm going to continue on as if we are everywhere, and hopefully we can fix it in post, as the saying goes. Anyway, hold for sirens in Mayberry, please. Something happening at the beach. All right, so what do you do with this homework? You got your typing words. You got a clear picture of your essence. You got some feedback about what first impressions might exist when you show up in the room. Hopefully you did it both in person and in the video version that we talked about, so that you got a good cross-section of data that you can then use. When you are going in for your headshots, and let me, hang on, put a pin in that for a second. It's possible you already have the right and perfect headshots for your most castable brand, but you're not using them. So before you think I'm telling you, you got to go shoot new headshots, consider going back through your proofs from your last headshot shoot, and somewhere around the headshot that you chose, there's probably another one that is of that energy and of that great lighting and great composition that also maximizes more of your typing words. And you may have overlooked it because upon first pass, it didn't flatter you in the ways that you wanted it to. And because it didn't give you all the benefits that you were hoping for out of your headshots, you went, oh, no, I'm skipping that one. But come back to it now with the filter in mind of all the typing words and essence words that you got from doing this homework. When you go through and look at those proofs now with an eye for which of these pictures does this job, I think you'll find that you're in really great shape, better than you may have thought, for having a picture that you don't actually have to go shoot new headshots for. That instead you are able to just pull from what already exists, and maybe you need to do a little retouch for a flyaway hair or something. Maybe it needs to be color balanced, whatever. But you are able to use something that you already shot, hopefully. And if you're like, no, mama, no, I was completely off base with my last headshot shoot. I was so far away from my most castable type and brand. I got it wrong. Okay, then good news. You've done the typing homework on who you are in the room. You know what shows up when brand you walks into the room. So now when you meet with your headshot photographer for scheduling your next shoot, you're able to have a conversation about what your goals are. You're able to talk about the true north that we talked about in the very first broadcast of SMF May. If you've not watched that, go back and watch that. We've talked about your true north. You're able to go into your headshot session or your consult even before your session saying, this is where I'm headed and here's where I currently am on the path. And so to get from here to here, my next level benchmark is showing up like I could be cast on these shows. And we'll get more into that kind of data wrangling a little later in SMF May. So hold tight if that feels a little clunky to you right now. It's okay. It's not supposed to make perfect sense unless you've done the self-management for actors work a great deal already. But part of the conversation you'll have with this headshot photographer is the kind of flavor that you want to bring to the picture. Not just I want to look my best, but it's I want to look my best, most castable self in the environment of what kinds of shows, what kinds of worlds, what kinds of essences. Okay, Tracy, I'm so glad you did the homework. I hope it's already feeling like, oh, a relief, like you're getting some answers that really allow you to sit in that, oh, cool. Okay, now I have some next steps. Assuredness, because I don't want anybody to get overwhelmed with the homework, because I know that it can be quite a bit. So I love that you're getting in there and wrangling that data. And I'd love to know how that's feeling for you. Hopefully it's feeling empowering, not overwhelming. But if it's overwhelming, that's part of why we take this in bite-sized chunks as a part of this training. So yay you for showing up. All right. So as you go through those lists, those words, I would love it if you would create a Pinterest board or start saving photos on Instagram to private saved lists of other people who look like they are in the world that you know you want to go into. So as a part of rocking your headshots, it includes a little bit of curating that you're going to do. And I don't want you to get too much into that actor mind taffy space of comparisonitis and why is this actor getting bookings that I'm not getting. Like, I don't want you to go down that road. And if you have the predisposition of putting yourself into that kind of self-torture, don't do this part of the assignment. But if you're like, no, I can dispassionately look at other actors and their tools and see what they're working with, then I encourage you to go take a look at the headshots of actors who have booked on the shows that you know you want to be on. Start creating a Pinterest board, an image space, a vision board, if you'd like, some kind of saved, curated image space that shows the textures, the fabrics, the layering that's being done, the lens flare that might exist, the kind of filter that is in place, like what sort of music might be playing during this headshot shoot. Like, you can even get all the senses involved if you really, really work this, and start to imagine what situation creates those kinds of headshots, and really see where that intersects with your true north and where you currently stand on the path to the stories that you know that you were born to tell. Cool? Does this feel like something you can do, starting to put together these kinds of images and taking a look at headshots of other people and dispassionately having a conversation with yourself about what you need to go for when it comes to headshots? Because what this also allows you to do, hopefully, is go look at headshot photographers' galleries with an eye toward who already naturally shoots exactly the kind of headshot that I need to have. Because you're going to soon learn, especially in a market as large as Los Angeles, that there are headshot photographers that just don't do your thing. They do not shoot your brand. And you would actually mess up what you're communicating to the buyers if you shot with those headshot photographers. Here's a perfect example of that. We've had clients of Self-Management for Actors work who have spent more than $1,000 on headshots. Single shoot. I just have to pause for the, like, oh my God, of that, because so not necessary. So not necessary. But okay. There was a ninja who is a lot like me in terms of folksy, accessible, like, seriously, bra strap showing, head, like, hair pulled up on top of the head, you know, like, just not a lot of makeup, not a lot of styling, like, just hanging out. All right. Just your girl. Okay. Like, seriously, we're going to go shoot pool after this and probably drink some beers. We're just good old gals. Right. She went and shot with one of those high-end 4-figure headshot photographers. And I think it had gotten into her head that she needed to shoot with these folks. And they are known for shooting really gorgeous headshots. I mean, and you should hope so if you're spending $1,000, for fuck's sake. Okay. So she goes and spends the $1,000 on these really gorgeous headshots. And they make her look gorgeous and polished and put together and way made up. And, like, I mean, she looks like a freaking soap goddess, like a soap star goddess. All right. And when she walks in the room, she's like me. She's like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? What's up? What's up? What are we talking about? Oh, cool. That's hilarious. Oh my God. I've got such a good joke. And it's like, girl, You don't even understand that by shooting headshots with those photographers, what you did was make your picture and your brand live in the brain of the buyer, the casting director, right? Or the agent, if you're submitting to an agent. It makes you live in a nicer neighborhood. It makes you live in a higher class territory. And then when you come in the room all folksy, we're like, oh, that's not at all what I thought I was getting. So you've either now gotten headshots that you're constantly having to chase that reality. And so you're wondering, why am I not getting cast? Because you get brought in on headshots that tell one reality, and then you show up a different reality, and then you're like, I did so great in the room, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. You could do fantastic in the room. You weren't what we were looking for. You can be a talented actor. You weren't what we were looking for. I ordered fish off the menu, and you came in steak. No, not helpful. So throwing lots of money at a headshot shoot is not the solution unless your brand aligns with that. If all the words you got in your branding survey are words that are high class, white collar, rich bitch, society maven, power player, like if you seriously got high status words and phrases in your typing work for your in-person presence, or your silent video presence, then absolutely spend the money on those high-end headshots. But I mean, even so, you don't have to spend $1,000 to get headshots that look like they were $1,000. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, my God, as actors, you hemorrhage money already. Please do not overspend on something just because you think you have to. Oh my God, no. Be smart. Smart money. Okay. All right. So, getting headshots from a more folksy photographer makes sense if your brand is a more folksy brand. And so by doing this work of really synthesizing the data that came from your day 3 homework, and then having a Pinterest board or a saved list in your Instagram, or even a collage that you just put up, saved images in a folder, however it is that you want to organize your stuff, you have a visual anchor for exactly what it is that you want your headshots to look like. And when you go look at all the amazing photographers' headshot galleries, you can find which ones already naturally shoot the kind of headshot that you are going to need in order to communicate to the buyers of your next on the road to your true north castable path here role. You are able to communicate to these buyers, I am right for this role that is the next thing that I'm supposed to play as I'm on my way to my most castable type and brand journey to the next tier, all the way up to my true north, the story that I was born to tell. Freddie, that makes me super happy. Freddie saying at YouTube, I feel so ahead of the game right now. Confidence is effing through the roof. I love it. Freddie, thank you. And it inspires me so much, Freddie, to see you doing your homework. Thank you for tagging me at Instagram so I can share those. That just makes me so happy. I love seeing everybody doing the homework. Even if you're just catching up now, this is only day 4 of our 20 days of free training in the month of May. So you're not that far behind. You can get caught up. I've tried to keep each of these videos to a half hour so you can seriously get caught up on everything we've done to this point, if we include today, in 2 hours. Invest 2 hours in this free training to get up to speed so that you're ready to join me when we do our next free training, which I can go ahead and tell you will be Wednesday. So you have another day between this live training and the next live training. It's going to be Wednesday, May 8th. Make sure you check your calendar at bonniegillespie.com/20 for the exact time. Hopefully we will fix whatever the issue is that has us not pushing to Facebook Live for some reason. I don't know. The restream says Facebook Live is online, but I've not seen a single comment from Facebook. I've seen a bunch from YouTube, and I've seen a few from Periscope, so I know those 2 went through. And I know Instagram has been representing, and I appreciate that. I'm hoping that maybe some of the people who would normally watch on Facebook were able to watch through Instagram. But we'll get the tech stuff sorted out. I mean, whatever. Tech is a moving target, so we do our best. But the replay will exist in the YouTube playlist, so at the very least you'll be able to watch it and not miss out on that. And then on the 8th, we will do our day 5 of SMF May, this free training that we're doing all through the month of May. And those of you who are joining us for our live round of Getting Gear for the Next Tier, The welcome kit has been fully updated. The calendar is ready. You can go ahead and jump in and start your pre-day one homework. Quite a few of you are already starting in early, which is awesome. You're certainly welcome to do that. And if you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, lady, we have a 100-day membership program that we do a live round for starting at the end of May. We close off registration May 31st. So if you're interested in joining us for that, we would love to have you. All the information is linked at this page here, which is bonniegillespie.com/20. For those of you watching on Instagram, it is my link in bio. Go there, sign up for updates, and of course, I will be in your inbox with the next Bond Blast in a few hours. Trina says, I have a headshot that was taken before hair and makeup. Photographer asked if I would let her shoot me like that, and I said, sure. It totally rocks my brand. I've never posted it anywhere. Should I? Trina, post it in the Self-Management for Actors Facebook group. Go into the SMFA Facebook group and post that picture and get feedback on it. Why not? Let's crowdsource this bitch. Let's find out if that's worth using. I think that's a great idea. Good. Nick, I'm so glad you're doing the homework. It makes me so happy to see you guys jumping in on this. Thank you, Aaron, for dropping links over at YouTube. And I know if you're doing it at YouTube rather than Facebook, we definitely have something glitchy town at Facebook. But hey, whatever. Maybe Facebook needed a day off. That's cool. We'll work it out. You beautiful people, thank you for joining me. I'm going to keep my promise of keeping this to a half hour and close off here. Remember to head over to bonniegillespie.com/20 for all the details. We will do this again on Wednesday. And until next time, stay ninja. Mwah.